Alright guys, another crappy quality video from Juggernaut Welding and Fabrication. I'm Michael. If you guys have watched any of my other videos and they have been even 1% useful, subscribe to my channel and like the videos for me, please. Today, we're going to go over maintenance on your table. So, the information I'm giving you is the same information that was given to me by STV over the past year and a half. I just cleaned my gantry and rack gears and guide rails and everything. I use this thing every single day. I had one guy comment on a post or a video one time saying that obviously I don't use my machine very often because the water was cleaned and because the table was cleaned. That's bullshit. This table works its butt off. I don't only do just decorative signs or anything. I do everything from 1-inch plate all the way down to 20 gauge stainless. I've cut brass, I've cut titanium, I cut a little bit of everything, a lot of aluminum. But so for starters, these are the products that I use. I just tried this cleaner degreaser, and honestly Purple Power I think works better, but it worked okay. This is anti-spatter that I use on a daily basis when I'm welding to prevent the spatter from sticking to the material. But in this case, it works really well for your rack gears. If you wipe off your rack gears and notice, they will get some surface rust on them. Those are mild steel, they're not stainless. And I noticed it about 6 months in. I was starting to get a little bit of rust. So what I do normally is take the finest steel wool you can buy. They've got different grits, and I think Walmart sells an assortment pack. But yeah, I didn't have any this time, but if you scrub those down with that steel wool, they'll look like brand new, and then you can put your anti-spatter on them. And then the white lithium grease, I generally put that on the back side of the gears, which I just did the other day, and I wiped all the excess off because that shit's pretty nasty. But you can see it up there where my guide is. I'll spray it on the pinion gear and on the rack and run it back and forth on all of the gears and racks and on all of the slides. These guides are really hard to get in there and get grease in there. You can see the lithium grease is kind of built up on the edge of it. I have gotten a grease gun on there and squirted some grease inside those couple months back. It's kind of hard with the angle that they're at, but you can do it. But in the meantime, I just put lithium grease on the rails like every couple of weeks. Now this is a big one, your Breakaway Torch. If you don't have one, then it doesn't concern you, but a while back I had a piece of material tip up, and my torch crashed and punched a hole in the water pan. It was due to a faulty switch, that little switch right there. I never thought about it, but after talking to those guys at STV, I think it was Barry, told me that you should be taking this off each week. Pull it off, put it back on, pull it off, plunge the button, whatever. Because if you don't ever look at that thing and you haven't had a breakaway in a while, then that switch can get gummed up, which makes a lot of sense. Also with these magnets, I had a little bit of surface rust on those magnets. So what I did was cleaned them off with the steel wool, and then just put a little bit of white lithium grease on them, and boom, that's what we do there. Now for your rails, right? Excuse the underside of my table, it's messy as hell. For your guide rails, I try to wipe these down like each week, because the amount of metal dust and stuff, you can see some there, the spatter and dross that gets in there. And if you figure those guides are everything when it comes to keeping your table aligned, those are everything. So I want to try to make mine last as long as possible. So again, white lithium grease. I wipe the excess off because it's nasty. I don't clean my table every single day or anything, but usually like once a month I'll try to wipe it down. I took apart the torch earlier. What made me think about it was my torch sounded like a bottle rocket, right? And these are brand new consumables. I just put them in this morning. They probably only have a couple hundred pierces on them, and I have really dry air, so I know they should be good. But what was happening was, up in here there was so much trash up here that it wasn't sealing all the way. So what I did was I just cleaned that up with one of these soft Scotch-Brite pads. I cleaned it off of there with that degreaser, and then I put some silicone lube on this O-ring and put it all back together, and it took away my issue. And while I was doing that, I decided to just wipe everything down, because this thing was like black. But if you use that, either the fine steel wool or Scotch-Brite and purple power, it'll clean right up and look just like this. So that, what else can we go over? Oh, this. So I usually pay my kids to do it, but I just got a magnet from Harbor Freight, put a little handle on it, and I will drag it through, and you can see how much crap comes out, and just use the Bondo knife to scrape it into the bucket. If you do that, like, I don't know, once every couple of weeks, then it saves you from having to do these massive cleanouts. I've seen guys that have had like full trash cans full of dross, and I don't know. It's easier to me, I think, if I just take a second when I think about it, or take 30 minutes when I think about it, and drag that magnet through there and get the big stuff out. It also helps your water stay clean longer. But yeah, that was just a quick short video on maintenance, and especially on this Breakaway Torch head. Like I said, Barry told me I should be taking it off once a week, just to confirm that that switch is working, and it has been ever since. The anti-spatter, like I said, works well to keep the rails from rusting up, especially if you're in a humid climate. I'm in Colorado, so it's not too crazy, but I mean, it is sitting right over water that is usually steaming hot from cutting all day. So anyway, hey, hit the subscribe and like buttons. I really appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, you can contact me at 719-338-3734. Thanks.